Alright, so in this video I'm going to discuss about the incident with Mutex showing that he had Cronus Pro, and when he tried to uninstall it after being confronted about it, it showed a install date of March of 2021. So there are 3 questions I'm going to try and answer in this video. And the first one is, did Mutex install Cronus Pro in March of 2021 as it showed in the video from his live stream? In order to do that, let's go take a look back from that day in question. So here we can see the Cronus Pro software showing a date of 3/15. I'm still not used to this. 3/15, 2021. And we see a bunch of other applications with the same date. As well, we do also see some applications with an older date. So this came out, myself, a bunch of others, it was just kind of a clash in the comments. Hey, the date changed from a Windows update, and other people saying, myself included, no, Windows update is not going to change the date on the install file. So after a couple of articles were posted in the comments on my video, made me question myself. So instead of just going off something I have personally never seen in the field, to, you know what, I'll test it, be a little more thorough, and we'll see what happens. So the things that we need is, first off, what is the oldest date that we can find here? It's going to be 3/14/2019 on one of his applications installed. So I need to find out what is the version of Windows that would have came out, the last but newest version of Windows that would have came out before then. And then the applications that didn't change, so we can see in the test, did those applications change or not. And then we also need the one application in question that did apparently change from a Windows update. And this here would be the Cronus Pro. So I went through and tracked down as much to the version as possible. I think 1 or 2 of them aren't the correct version. So I went through and tracked down all of these different ones. I don't know what that is. So I went through and tracked all those versions down according to the image in question, because I didn't know if it would affect the outcome. So 1 or 2 of these are an outlier and they don't have the correct version. But going through testing, I've already tested this multiple times, as there are many different versions of Windows that I tested it on. However, this is the one that we are actually going to use for today's test. I tested even older ones and newer ones. The outcome is the same. Alright, so we have the earliest date that an application was installed. That will be our start date. We have the applications that didn't change, and we have the application in question, Cronus Pro. Now we need to go through and test and see if the updates will change that. I tried using VMware, Workstation 11. It started giving me some weird flickering problem after a bit, and I couldn't even work with it. Not something that I could try and show a meaningful result with online. So I settled with using Oracle VirtualBox for this, and it seemed to work perfectly fine for all the tests I've ran so far. Alright, so Oracle VirtualBox, so the first thing is, VirtualBox will go through and it'll pull the day and time from my local machine. So in other words, in order to trick it, I'll go ahead and do it now. Adjust date and time, set manually, change. And we need to do it for, this is the oldest, this is the second oldest. So given this is the oldest one, the other ones are in 2020. We're going to go 3/14/2019. Alright, so now you can see down here in the corner, my machine shows it as 3/14/2019. Alright, we're going to go through. It was showing files from a previous attempt here. So there's nothing here. View, hidden folders and items. So there's nothing hiding. Alright, let's go ahead. Machine, new. We'll call it Mutex. do it at the root of the C where I have my VMs. 1809. Select Windows 10 64. Next. We'll give it 8 gigs. Should be more than enough of RAM. Virtual hard disk, VDI, doesn't matter, dynamic. Alright, so we don't run any problems with it downloading updates. 120 gigs is more than enough, and you can see the path that it's going to install to if you want to go back and see it. So now you see a folder in here, just created, 1059, or sorry, 1056, and the file's just populated. So I'll minimize that. Alright, a couple things we need to do before we start this. One, we're going to give it more than one thread. We'll give it 6. Storage, we need to tell it the install medium. So again, we're going to use the October version, 1809 of Windows 10 Pro, x64-bit. Network, we'll do bridged, and we're going to disconnect it for now. Shared folder, we're going to tell it where to find these files that I downloaded. So CVM's Mutex apps. So CVM Mutex apps. We want it to be able to mount it. The mount is F, not a problem. And we want to make sure it can install them and open them and everything, so we're not going to do read only. Alright, I believe that's it. Okay. Start up the VM. There will be points at which I will try to fast forward it so people aren't just sitting here just mindlessly drooling waiting for something to happen. I will keep a raw file in case somebody tries to say, oh, I thought I saw a skip point here or there. So I'll go ahead and keep the full file, but I'll try and speed up some of it as much as possible. The clock here should be able to, since it only updates every 60 seconds, depending on how fast I speed it up, it should be able to mark that according to the, I don't know how well this free video editing software OpenShot works, so we'll see if it messes anything up, but I'll keep a raw file just in case anybody wants to question it. Install now. No product key. Windows 10 Pro. If it were Pro or Home, it doesn't make a difference. Pro just has more stuff, features unlocked. Here's the virtual hard disk. This will take probably about 3 minutes, 4 minutes. It's fun. If you like watching paint dry, this is fun. Oh, input. Remove. You couldn't see it underneath the banner, but it was basically saying, hey, press any key to start from the Windows install medium. Alright, so as you can see, it says no Ethernet cable detected, but it sees the network device. And I'm blocking the mic again. No password. So one of the things we're going to do when it starts up is I'm going to basically, I would generally, that telemetry stuff, I would disable that on the actual machine. I'm going to go through and enable the admin account and switch over to that user. That way there's no problems with write access. first. Let's go in. Enable the admin account. Users. Just in case it wants to be finicky about it, we'll just blank out the password. Alright, now we're going to pass through, Control-Delete, switch user, admin, sign in. It's got to go through the same process if it's a new user. It's going to ask the same telemetry stuff again as well. Alright, so in order to pass through the folder file, as you can't see here, you need to insert this, install this, and it is going to go through install files needed to be able to pass those files through, and I'll have to restart it here in a second. Boot now. Again, it's still seeing this date down here. I don't know if I pointed that out yet. So as you can see right there, it's still showing that date. See? There we go. We can see this now. So copy all those over. We will start with the Cronus. See if we can make this a little bigger. Install. Finish. Alright. Now let's go through and do the rest of them. This one gave me a bit of an error earlier. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the way that I installed it. Let's see what it does. And again, I'm blocking that mic again. Alright, install. Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I don't know why, but it's trying to tell me that it won't install because of no network connection. And I'm not going to do that because I don't want the date to change. No, don't want to run it. CPC. Agree, install. Done, install. Finish. Driver easy. So I don't know what some of these programs, what he uses them for. I mean, obviously some of them are kind of easy to tell. But like this foot switch, I don't know. It's foot switch 703. I don't know what he uses it for. But it didn't change, so we're going to use it as a control. Sure, whatever. All right. Alright, with the exception of the Logitech software, everything else is installed. You can see the date down here in the corner. So control panel. Alright, install date 3/14/2019. So from here, let's go ahead, shut it down. We will fix my time and date, let it set automatically. It is now reverted back to July 11th, 2021. Start it back up. We'll show that the application still maintained the previous install date, and then we'll see that the date has actually changed on the VM itself. We'll connect to the internet, and we'll start the update process. There we go. It has now jumped to the future. July 11th, 2021. As you can see, all those apps are going to start jumping up here. 3/14/2019, but today's date is now updated. Let's now connect the network. Give it a second, it should pass that through. Alright, we are now connected. Clock is up here. Hopefully I don't have to go anywhere. My wife should be home here shortly. She's probably going to ask for some help. So I'm going to come down and check on it on occasion. But from this clock right here, you'll be able to tell nothing's changed. And from what you've seen, you can go through and run this test yourself and tell whether or not I mess with anything. So, alright, Windows Update. It is already going through downloading them. So I'll stick with this for a minute. I'll make sure that it's actually going through and starting to download and install the updates. The first round of updates shouldn't be too bad, but the second round is a huge service pack, and that one takes a lot more time. So stick with it here for a minute, and once this is done going to a certain extent, then I'm gonna speed up the time of the video, and I'll keep a raw file, so if somebody wants to watch it, see if the time got spliced and diced or anything. So first round of updates are done. Let's go ahead and restart it. The next round of updates are going to take a lot longer. I'm just going to chime out, watch some videos on my cell phone, I'll set this headset down, and then once it goes through and it's done, it's got a bunch of stuff to do since it's a rather large service pack, and then we'll go ahead and check the dates. Alright, restart number 2 after the second round of updates. No, there's light there. Just trying to move it a little further away from my head. So that right there was one of the largest update packs. So I believe there's a few small ones after this update, and then we should be able to come to the conclusion of the first question. All right. There are no more updates, so now it's conclusion time of whether or not Mutex had installed Cronus Pro in March of 2020 or 2021 as shown in the video. So in regards to the first question, as we can see from here, Cronus Pro looks to have updated today during the Windows install, and the other applications still show 3/14/2019. So Mutex, no, he did not install it of March 2021. Windows Update manipulated that install, and I stand corrected. So with regards to that, I was wrong. I'm not going to remove the previous video. I'm not going to remove anything I've said online because I stand corrected. It was my mistake. I should have went through and done this test first. This leads me into question number 2. And the question that some people really want to know: when did Mutex install Cronus Pro? The answer to that: sometime before that date. It was version 1.21, which was released in 2018, and the install date was modified and changed by Windows as of March 15th, 2021. So somewhere in that time frame. So somewhere between 2018, when that version was released, and March 14th, 2021. I don't have anything else for you there. So you got a time frame. I don't know when he installed it, unless he lets me look at the system and use something to recoup deleted files and check, which I don't think he's going to do, and I don't think he cares, and I don't think a lot of people in the community are going to care. So Mutex is a bit vindicated there, and we're pretty much left at his word at this point. Now let's go into the third question, because I had made a statement, because I've never used the software. I said online and in my video that this shows that he opened it up, drilled down, and was looking for a file, and that it reopened back up to this point. So question number 3, can you tell if Mutex used the application for anything outside of putting the device into tourney mode? Let's go back to the VM. Did I shut it down? Yeah, be kidding me. All right. No, I didn't. It's right here. All right. So let's go over to that, since it's not going to show me where it is. Close, get out of here, minimize, exit, whatever. Cronus Pro. Let's open it up. It hasn't been touched or opened in this VM, so we're starting it from fresh. He was on the program menu, and here we can see, similar as his, users, admin, desktop. We have a new folder. So no, from what I had said, Mutex did not open it and put it to that point. One thing I went through and tested just to make sure and see what's going on. Let's say I opened up program files instead. Let's go ahead and close out of it and open it back up and see where it's at. Go back to programs, and it goes right back to the same exact spot as before. So no, we can't tell if he did or didn't use the application for anything other than putting a device into tourney mode. So unfortunately, I don't think this probably gives the answer to some people that they want, but for the most part and in large, I was wrong. I'm not above to admitting that. So again, going forward, I'm going to be more methodical and take an approach of actually testing it first before I say anything. And if I can prove or disprove something, then I'll come out and make a video about it. So Mutex, as far as I'm concerned, you're in the clear. Unfortunately, we don't know when you installed the Cronus Pro software. And given that you have the software, means that you also have the device. So there is a bit of doubt there still. But for the most part, with the date that it showed that it was installed, and the fact that we can't prove that he used the software for anything other than putting it in tourney mode, Mutex is in the clear for now, and for the most part with me. So sorry if some people didn't get the answer they wanted, and sorry if other people didn't get the answer they were wanting. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. We don't know when he installed it, but he didn't install it on the 15th of March of this year. And we can't tell if he used it for anything other than put it in tourney mode, and we can't prove that he did. And I don't know, the conclusion kind of sucks here, but for the most part, no, he didn't install it on the 15th. And that's the only concise answer that I can give you. The rest of it is still up in the air, and there are 2 statements I made that I was wrong on. So again, going forward, I'm going to be a bit more methodical, and I will test something before I come out and say something, but only if it's in a situation where I can say it, say whether or not a definitive yes or no. So all right, other than that, I guess if you have any questions, whatever, post them in the comments. Deuces.